man, he was such a kind guy. But you don't remember in his face. If you see him in the street, you don't remember him, you don't know him. But you remember that kindness. That is a part of your soul. Your soul can understand kindness. See? So, and how do we move? Somebody was asking me. I've written a few notes here for myself and for you. How do we move? The movement on the other side, because there's no time, is not taking place by time. It takes by willpower. That is the first power that you have. You desire, your will. If you have no willpower, you're dead. That's the first of your five senses, the willpower. You have to will it out. Just like a handicapped man can move nothing. The mosquito sits on his arm, bites him to death, and he can't even move, can do nothing about it. Imagine that situation, because he has no willpower to do it. If you have no willpower, you can't get out. You will be in a circumstance and condition forever suffering. This is the condition of those people who are like material. Let's say Hitler is like a big mine. People use him to build houses on the spiritual standard, but they don't know even this was a person. Only God knows what has happened to him. He's in a complete lock. He absolutely cannot communicate. No ways, no senses, nothing. Of course, I credited him by saying that he's a mine. Absolutely not. He's worse than that. Actually, let me not to judge it. It's up to God, whatever he says it is. I just use it as an example. So, the willpower, it makes you to move. If there's a willpower, when you're hurt, just move to the other side. Because you have a leg, you can go. You're handicapped, you have no willpower. Some of the people, when they die, they do surgery on them, just like here. Essentially, you go in a situation, a transition place is like a hospital, almost. And they do surgery sometimes. It's possible. Sometimes it's not possible. Like a person here who hates smoking, but he smokes. So his will is kind of like an arm that's a split. It goes this way and it goes that way. You hate it, but you're doing it. How is this possible? In that side, they do surgery sometimes, but he uses some arm, some wheel, something, becomes a person, but not really a person. So in the next life, only one. Proportion is just like it. As much as the number of plants, minerals, and vegetation, you go count it, how many there are, and there's one species of humanity, same thing is on the other side. 1 of a trillion goes there. But my dear friend, nobody has stopped you, any one of you. It's up to you. Although it's such a rarity to go there, Baha'u'llah says, from you only few came to us. And of that few, only fewer of the few. Very few. Very, very few. That's so sad. And all of this happens under oblivion. We're oblivious about it, and we do not see the language of the soul and the spirits. And we're getting into these game shows of the West, they talk about reincarnations, they talk about soul, contact with soul. These are, I am sorry to use, for the first time I am using this word. That is the biggest bullshit. That is such a contradiction with reality. I'm going to explain to you a little bit about that. Unbelievable how people have such a concept that they think the soul of the guy can come to. How could the soul of this guy come to you? How? We already said that. The design of a coffee cup is exactly matches the material of that coffee. Exactly. They're exactly counterpart of each other, as Abdul says. If you want to bring my soul, if I'm dead, you have to then exactly have my body. I have to be a son of Hussein and Fatima. That body, that particular body only can, if that can happen, then I can come here. It's impossible. Because I am the design of that particular body. The body is gone. It will not repeat itself. There is no repetition. Even dialectic of Karl Marx and Hegel have explained that. It's not as, David Hume thinks it's mechanical, things repeats. Sure, this universe and the stars when dies and evaporates and come back, but not the same repeat. It's something else, some other thing. You can destroy this house and make a new one. It will not be the same one. It's something else. So the body cannot come here in no way, no shape or no form. You want to do that, you have to have exactly, the mold. The mold is not there, the same mold. Reincarnation is another thing that people talk about it. This is an Indian thing, mostly comes from India. I remember in '84 I was talking to Dr. Munji, and he was emphasizing on this fact that in the book of Gita, it says the dweller in man as a young state, as a child state, and an old state. That means the dweller means the soul of a man. When it's young, when it's old, is different, it says. So when the soul of a man who dies in 80 years old, how can he come back as a small child? We already said the thinking is the part of the soul. So this 5 years old child, 10 years old child, then has to be thinking exactly like that old man that died probably some other time. Has anything like that has happened? No. It's an aberration. It's just enormous. Why this kind of a pattern of thinking goes on? Why is because we're so good one side materially, but spiritually we're so wrong. The example I gave you, one of the best example is that Stephen Hawking, one of the purest probably soul. This man hasn't done anything wrong to anybody. Could have not done. He thinks the 6 days in the Bible it refers to the Ice Age. And I explained to you that that's anything like that. That's 6,000 years from Adam to beginning of the Baha'i faith. That's all it is. Nothing to do with Ice Age because they never read Bible. They don't take it serious. To see what this book is talking about. It's not familiar to others. I'm going to read a quotation from Baha'u'llah here. I prepared it out of one of his books. It's called Gleaning from the Writing of Baha'u'llah. Page 158 to 163. Quote, by the righteousness of God, I should go from the beginning of it, I guess. Know thou of a truth that if the soul of man had walked in the ways of God, it will assuredly return and be gathered to the glory of the beloved. By the righteousness of God it shall attain a station such no pen can depict or tongue describe. The soul that had remained faithful to the cause of God and stood unwaveringly firm in his path shall after his ascension be possessed of such power that all the world which the Almighty hath created can benefit through him. Such a soul provideth, at the bidding of the ideal king and divine educator, the pure leaven that leaveneth the world of being, and furnisheth the power through which the arts and the wonders of the world are made manifest. Consider how meal needed leaven to be leavened with. Those souls are the symbols of the detachment or the leaven of the world. Meditate on this and be thankful. See what Baha'u'llah says? My God, it's astonishing to think about what he says here. God is like a baker, he says. He wants to make food, baking bread. He needs a leaven to make the paste. soul that have understood and realized the meaning of the life. And they went into the pathway of the truth, which has benefited them. God uses them to create things that we have. Arts, wonders. This TV. You're saying, hey, just a minute. How does it happen? Didn't I say that the English saying, mind over matter? Don't we need the idea first? The design? Then we can make it? The souls are the ideas. They are the designs. They are the great minds, the great thinkers. And that mind is the backbone of things that are happening in this world. That important it is. A true man who's understood Baha'u'llah. The word believer, Baha'u'llah doesn't like it actually. He says, those who understand me. Don't say I'm a believer of you. Say that I understood you. That's the first chapter in the book of, the first verse of the Kitab al-Aqdas, which is the most holy book of the Baha'i faith. He says this is a prescription. Not God, but me, he says. Because I am the manifestation of God. I am the God that can be understood. I am the one. I am like planet Earth, a safe distance away from God. You go on Mercury, you die. On Venus, you perish. Go to Mars, you're cold. Here on Earth, a safe distance away. If you orbit, exist, live here, in orbit